What is up, my Lorcana Goons? And welcome back to the Lorcana Goons channel. You're watching the Friday Weekly Market Watch. Today is November 1st. Hope you guys had an awesome Halloween celebration if you guys celebrate that. And in general, hope you guys are having an awesome start to your weekend. Zach is joined with us today. He helps us with the Market Watch on Fridays because he is a pro cards vendor in Southern California. And this week, I want to start off with something, Zach, that somebody, Zohan625 in our Discord posted. They ordered from Amazon the Rise of the Floodborn starter decks that were super cheap. And they said that they opened a Crayola. They pulled a Crayola box out of this instead of an actual starter deck slash pack. So I actually have one that I ordered from Amazon too. It's not the same one. That's an amethyst steel. This is the amber sapphire. So I'm gonna open this. Zach, while I open this, what do you think of this? Like cap or not?
I think that this is not capped, but to be fair, um, the
Bam.
packaging wasn't like opened on camera, and that's a big point that I like to always mention, guys. If you do buy and sell cards, make sure that you are videotaping some of your packaging and openings because it is crucial to kind of cover all bases, whether it may be cap or not. You don't want to accuse somebody of something that they didn't do. However,
hmm
documenting evidence is important,
hmm
and I always videotape my openings. Again, we get things from Amazon, we get things from these places that are more like trusted or have like a
Wow, I got
verification
another guy
on
stunned.
the sellers.
Even though I got this in the starter deck. Sorry, go ahead, Zach. Ooh, and a Teeth and
Um,
Ambitions. And
yeah, so so
oh,
so
broom.
that's just the point I wanted to make is that videotape your openings, guys, especially if you're buying from individuals on like marketplaces or Facebook groups. Make sure you just set up the video, show the package as a whole. Make sure that there's no openings out beforehand that you if you discover any, kind of point them out. And when you're packaging things, do that too because if you have the box on video the way it's packaged, somebody were to receive that and have it, opening it on camera, it should look the same, maybe minus a few stuffs here and there. So just take care of yourselves and make sure you're only doing business with people that are trusted. You're sending goods and services and doing your due diligence.
So I actually, as you guys saw on camera, I got a pack and a starter deck. Zach, thanks for the advice. The due diligence is very important. If that does happen, I think every website is going to agree with the buyer rather than the seller. So you get your money back. But take your risks with the Amazon starter decks. Like this one was fine, but again, this wasn't the amethyst steel one, so maybe it might just be the amethyst steel ones. But join our Discord. We have a bunch of stuff going on like that. We also had some new Enchanted reveals today, like Treasure Mountain. This is a card that was revealed today. Only the Enchanted was revealed, not even the actual regular art, but it's a steel card, 5 cost, uninkable location that has a 2 cost of to move characters there. It also has 9 willpower, gets you 2 lore every turn, and says at the start of your turn, deal damage to chosen character or location equal to the number of characters here. Zach, how do you feel about this?
Well, I like to mention that this card is an uninkable location that costs 5. It does have like a little hefty cost to that. 2 passive lore does feel good though about its hefty cost as well as its amount of willpower for the damage it can take. But please keep in mind that this trigger has to happen at the start of your turn and must damage a chosen character or location, regardless of where it is on the board. Um, that means you can at least just target itself at the very least, put some damage on it if there's nothing to damage on your opponent's side, which means that they have like no tempo and no actual like cards in play, which is not bad. If you got like 3 characters on there and you're just putting 3 damage on your location, you've already gained 2 lore from that. You're questing out with whatever characters you have in the play. And they still have to deal with it next turn. Again, the card was revealed as an enchanted. I'm curious to see what actual rarity it does come in the set. What are your thoughts on that, Kevin?
Yeah, it's not my favorite card. I feel like it has a really pretty hefty move cost to be able to deal damage somewhere. And like you said, it's a mandatory, or I guess for lack of a better term, like you have to deal damage somewhere. If you have characters there, so you will have to damage itself or like your own characters, which is kind of a drawback because I get the feeling that items are going to be really strong next format. And if you set this up there's a world where your opponent just plays like 3 items back to back and just digs for their be prepared, and they have no characters anyways, and now you're just stuck dealing damage to your own characters or your own location. So not my favorite card, but we've had a lot of really good card reveals for Azurite Sea this week, and if you guys want to see some of the awesome ones like this Enchanted We Could Be Immortals card and all the other ones, you can join our Discord or just find them on the Lorcana news feed as well. But let's get on into some market news. Zach Stone, I want to start off with some Enchanted rares that have been blowing up since the DLC week, even before the DLC week. Finders Keepers Enchanted. So we've been looking at these go from $40 to $70 and to $100, and they kind of came back down, but they went straight back up. If you look at the DLC deck lists, a lot of the Ruby Amethyst lists were playing multiple copies of Finders Keepers, and now there's only 3 listings left. The lowest non-verified is 105 with $2 shipping. Vamos Como Store has 2 of them ready to go right there. And then we have CP Money and Fun. They have the lowest verified today for 115. After that, Abysmal Pain, 150. Look at the recent sales. They're have been selling for an average of $100 in my opinion. 100, 96, 97, 98, 105, 98, etc. This card was great. I think this card was like the what made the difference in what makes the difference in like the Ruby Amethyst mirror match and the Ruby Sapphire matchup if you're playing Ruby Amethyst. And I was not surprised to see all of my mirror matches play this card as well. And my opponents were not surprised when I played this card on them. It's a pretty strong card. And I honestly get the feeling that it's going to be just as popular next format. Just because it took a long time for Ruby for Amethyst players, whether it be Ruby and whatever, to kind of realize that drawing 3 is actually just pretty good. Especially when you can put yourself into like a game state where you can just slap a be prepared a turn later or something. And there's this notion I always hear from people like, why would I want to skip my turn 5 to draw 3 cards? Well, most of the time you aren't playing this on turn 5 actually. Like you're waiting, not waiting, but when you draw into it in like a simplified game state and you have like 10, 11 ink to spare, playing this while you still have 6 to 5 ink to spare in Ruby Amethyst is just unfair actually. Because you could draw into like library and move characters into the library, 1-drops, all the 1-drops you play in that deck. So it's a really impactful card, and we're headed into like a very heavy discard meta. We're getting so much discard support, so being able to draw 3 cards in a discard meta sounds good to me. I don't know. What do you think, Zach?
Well, there's 2 things that I feel like it's really important to mention. This card is an action and not a song, meaning in the Emblem matchups, Ursula is not ripping this card into your hand, which is crucial because if you're discarding your cards, you need to reload, like you just mentioned. Also, I felt like when I was playtesting with this card in Ruby Amethyst, I like the idea of just slapping a rabbit on 4 and not really worrying about it being removed because I have more draw power in
Yep.
my deck.
Yep.
I'm not just relying on the rabbit bounce. So it allows you to play a little bit more freely. Again, there are plenty of times where Kevin and I will talk about, hey, I have no turn 4 play, but a rabbit. Should I play it? And it's like, well, if you play it and they remove it, where's your draw power? And it's a big, big decision-making thing. It's why Maleficent Sorceress was in our decks at one point in time. However, this card, I think, is just going to be here to stay. Drawing 3 cards with 5 ink isn't the worst amount of mana pain. I think it's on average like 2 ink per card draw. So you get a little bit of a better deal, right? You're paying 1 less ink to get that 3rd extra card.
That's a
It's
good
like buy
deal.
2, get 1 half off.
I think that's a good deal, especially when we saw that new Jafar card coming out, or it's like an action card of like Jafar staff. But basically, it's a 7-cost uninkable. Banish a character, draw a card, and Dragonfire does that for 5. So I'm assuming that exactly like you said, that 2 ink is the card you draw. So exactly, buy 2 get 1 half off. I love deals, bro. You know me, I love a good deal. So, speaking of good deals. These Mirabel Madrigal promos from Set Champs are cheap. Lowest verified today is $35 by Top Deck Keep. They have 5 of them for you ready to go. Top Deck Keep was at DLC Seattle, right, Zach?
Yeah, shout outs to you guys. Honestly,
Yep.
that is in our local Southern California area. They're located, I think, in Riverside, and
Yeah.
Jeff took care of me and my buddy Chris,
Yep.
who earned top 64 at the event. So really shout outs to you guys. Also, make sure to consider that these Mirabelles are now starting to get around the price of how much it costs to enter some of the set champs that were being hosted. I remember my set champs that I attended, I paid about $25, got a pack for my entry. And if now this Mirabelle is only around like $35, that's like 10 more extra dollars. Maybe I'm getting my money back if I flip it to a vendor, right? Like if I were to pay for one of these, I may not spend more than like 20, 25 bucks on it. And that's just because I feel like this card could go down even more. The set champs being top 8 for the promo cards definitely is a reason why this price is where it is in
Hmm.
comparison to the Rockstar Stitch and the Ursula. So just remember, guys, to support your local game stores that are really giving back to those players that are there. Because now that they're getting these kits and they're handing out, like, everyone gets a card in top 8, that's nothing special anymore, right? Like, we're not looking at significant money here, if that's the point. If you're looking just to get this card for your collection and you're a more
Hmm.
standard player, then this fits perfectly, right? Like, you don't really have a lose lose. I think there's a lot of people that have a difference of opinion on the whole top 8 getting price cards. I would have personally like non-foils for top 8, foils for top 4, or stamped ones, for like how you place like the mats. So it's something that they can definitely consider. I'm not too sure though, because it's like it's been every set champs that has come by, I've been less and less interested in playing in a lot, and plus it's on the weekends now.
Yeah, it being only on weekends is like my biggest thing because I would still like to play them regardless of what like card they give out. At the end of the day, like I would like to play them regardless of what card. But the fact that it's only on weekends makes it really hard to play them. So I would really appreciate like a weekday one, Friday, Thursday, Monday, something. Especially if it's not going to be as like prestigious as it was the first second time around. If we're gonna be doing it like top 8 and like basically everybody gets a Maribel, which I'm perfectly cool with. They should just let them do them on any day. Like it's not going to be as impactful. But yeah, I think this card has potential eventually, though. Like it's a card that can quest for 5 if they ever make it useful. Speaking of the DLC, and by the way, shout out my cousin Chris for getting top 64. Team Goons representing. Honestly, I love my cousin, man. I'm so happy for him. This dude is like the king of I don't want to go because I'm afraid I'm not going to do well, and we always tell him, dude, you're gonna do well. Like don't even doubt yourself. And this first DLC, boom, makes top 64. So if you're somebody who you do well locally and you're a little just worried about like whether or not you're gonna do good at a DLC or something and you haven't made that jump and it's within your means, then I highly recommend you go. Never doubt yourself. You know what I mean? You should not doubt yourself. But if you did play a DLC, you got a Dragonfire on round 3, and these Dragonfires are still at like $50, which is not too bad because they were selling for less than $50 earlier in the month in like the middle of October. And now that all the DLCs are gone, it's looking like they're starting to sell just a little bit more. Today, lowest verified is Lorcana Prime, now at $48, so no longer in that $40 range. And then after that, it goes to Double Infinity, DCH Digital Club, and they stick around that $48 mark. Not $50 yet, but I get the feeling if they switch up the price card for the next DLCs or until they announce the next DLCs, we'll probably start seeing some sales for these go up. Just because yeah, you can't get these anymore. As of right now, you just can't get them right now. You know what I mean? Because the only thing left is going to be Continentals, and they have not said that you're getting a Dragonfire or anything like that for Continentals. These were only exclusive for the DLCs. But let's get into some more DLC stuff real quick because you were able to get these Rapunzels at the DLC as well, and these alongside the Cinderella promo cards were exclusive to the DLC experience. So until they announce more of them, these are going to be the prices. And the same thing, it looks like they're going back up, Zach Stone. Look, earlier in the month of October, $100. Now that the DLCs are done, boom, 121. Top deck keep, lowest verified. They have 6 of them ready for you to go. So this is kind of nice. And like I said, if you haven't gone to a DLC, your only way to get them now is going to be online. So maybe these go up, but who knows? Maybe these are going to be the same cards they use for the next DLCs. We just don't know yet. I'm hoping they don't, though. I would really like to see some new stuff to play for on the prize wall, right? The Queen Diviner is an Enchanted rare I want to talk about today because I think this card might be a little slept on with all the item support we're getting next format. Even just like on a hype level, like I know people are going to be using Oswald and all these new items we're getting in Sapphire to support the yokai, the microbots, right? Imagine hitting a microbot off of this Queen Diviner. Lowest verified is Johnny Corp's cards, $67.99 with $2 shipping. That's pretty cheap in my opinion. Less than $70 for an Enchanted rare that just might be relevant next format. Zach, what do you think?
Well, shout outs to Mike from the Quest Kids for always holding it down with his queen builds of the blue red deck. I think that this card is slept on. Remember we saw that red blue deck with the Prince Johns, LeFous, rewriting your characters and
Yeah.
inserting them again to get their abilities to trigger. This card has the same context, and it's important to remember that the item does have to be played exerted. Also, cards like the Talisphere that banish themselves, don't need to be a readied item in order to trigger. So that means you can find the Fatal Sphere off this and pay the 1 ink and banish it to give a character rush and to strength this turn. That means you can find it to be able to get rid of those locations that are going to be coming out in the new, excuse me, Azurite Sea set. And I think that this card might hit its, its spike. Again, keep in mind, guys, for all those listening today, that we are not here to tell you any advice or give you any financial advice in that way, but we've seen what happens when hype is behind a lot of the cards, especially when they're playable, especially when they're enchanted. Just be mindful that this could happen to this card. If it's not soon, could be way later down the line. And this game, I think, is still not like fully solved as far as the meta goes. Like, we could see other combinations of decks and cards come in very, very soon. Continentals is going to be a whole game changer. We're expecting people to come out of the woodworks with their homebrews they've been working on since set four. I'm very excited. Also, very happy for you, Kevin, that you get to participate in that Continentals. We are making sure that you are well trained for those events. And honestly, I want to see a goon go to Worlds.
Yeah, no, it would be crazy. Yeah, that's the dream. That's the dream. So, yeah, yep. If you didn't know, I get to play in Continentals. Got that invite a while ago. So now we just prep for that, and there's a lot of strategies that you can use in Lorcana right now. Exactly like you were saying, man. We look at the DLC top 64, even top 16. There's just a variety of decks. We had Lorganes with his Amber Steel Mufasa, and then we had Amber Steel Location deck in top 32, and then there's just a variety of ways you can play this game. A lot of strategies that are not necessarily used, and I definitely think that they're worth looking into at least. But yeah, that's enough of that metagame talk, because at the end of the day, we'll see what happens when Azurite C comes out, right? RLS Legacy has been going up in price this week recently. In October, they were $45, and as of today, lowest verified is going to be 77. Wow, that's a huge difference. I don't know what happened there. $61 dollars is going to be your lowest non-verified by Enchanted Evolutions, and there's only 9 listings left. After the $77 one, it goes to 75, then it goes to 89, so it kind of jumps to like $90 there. Some recent comps, somebody bought 2 of them yesterday for $100, the one for 61, and all the ones for 60 I just sold out. This is interesting. Did I don't know. Did something get announced where this card is going to be like really good or something? Because I can't think of any like amazing combos where RLS Legacy is going to be like all of a sudden now a $60 enchanted rare.
Two lore is something that I always feel like is important to mention for locations. Something that I will actually mention too, Jim Hawkins, the space traveler, has been a card that I think I sold like 2 or 3 play sets on Wednesday, and I am kind of low in my inventories. And that's a card that I've
Hmm.
always liked. It does say like
Yeah.
free 3 times, so it's very it's very, very strong. The stats are also very good. It doesn't tie to Medusa. And we're going to see a lot of um Ruby, like Amber location decks, or maybe even Ruby Steel location decks. This is a Ruby location. Making your characters gain evasive ball here is also still really impactful against Diablo, which I can expect to also be around. I don't think Emerald's going anywhere. It has a lot of powerful cards, and it does get some couple bonuses into the new set too. To warrant this card being above $60 is one thing. I remember Pride Lands being bought out a while ago, and that became like a $80 to $90 enchanted. I think even further back, talking about Inklands, it even hit like closer to 140, 150. And then ever since then, no one's respected like these enchanted like items, locations, and actions the same. Unless along came Zeus or Finders Keepers, right?
Yeah, it's there's like very specific ones that are good, and it's because they make so many like weird ones, like the Prince John tantrum or something. You know what I mean? They'll make enchants like actions like that, or like a bad. Oh my god, bad anon. Every time I open up, what is that, Ursula's or Shimmering Skies,
Nice
Shimmering.
guys.
Yeah, anytime I open up Shimmering, I'm always like, oh please don't let me pull a bad and or bad anon enchanted, right? I feel like that's as bad as pulling a legendary Gantu sometimes, but at least it's an enchanted. Let's talk about about some non-enchanted stuff though. Clairbo, light on your hooves today is looking pretty down. Lowest verified is going to be still close to $18-19, 1840 by Gamers Gambit TCG. Some non-verified sellers have them, even multiples. 1749 by Red 3 TCGs right there, lowest non-verified. Shout out you. Do want to check out the cold foils though today. Its cold foils are still $25 by Didas Cards with a Z, 25.37 with shipping included. Personally, I'm gonna be trying my blue green deck again next format because now that we have that new Basil, Clarabelle seems even cooler. Check out Beast Tragic Hero though. This is selling for as low as $39.95 by Stone Drink Collects, and they have four of them for you. So if you wanted a playset of Beasts and it's payday for you today, maybe consider spending on this on one seller so you can save some shipping costs. Love to see that one. And yeah, check this out. Lowest non-verified is going to be a TCG Litist by 37.55. Pretty much the same price, up $39, but they also have four of them for you. There's a lot of non-verified sellers that have beasts right here ready to go actually. So if you in multiple, some of them have multiple too, which is kind of interesting. All right, we were talking about items a little while ago, Zach, and Lucky Dime is probably one of the best items you can utilize in the Sapphire strategy, and apparently you can get this off of the Oswald too, which is kind of crazy. So lowest verified today is 1285 for your non-foil Lucky Dimes, and these kind of had a spike earlier this format, and they haven't really come down since. Yep, lowest verified for a foil Lucky Dime is now $30. After that, and they stick around that $30 mark up until your boy selling over here for $34.99. They got two of them if you want to spend a little bit more for two. But what do you think about Lucky Dime going into the new format?
Well, I want to point out that Lucky Dime was a card that some of my Ruby Sapphire like teammates and people in our testing circle were considering playing three copies of, especially at DLC Seattle. That might have been due to the amount of mirror matches they expected to play and how often that they wanted to have an edge in that matchup. However, Oswald being a card that's going to be very impactful next set, the microbot strategy with the yokai and the aerial OTK
Mm,
doesn't. I don't think it includes the Lucky Dime. So there is some builds that are going around without it. I mean we've seen that Ruby Sapphire list with like absolutely no ramp except Great Stone Dragon and no Lucky Dimes. So it's very interesting to see like where we are, and it's just to kind of come back to what I said earlier in the video about how this meta is not defined and people are not thinking out, not always thinking outside the box to create different strategies to win with. We do think that like some things are solved when they're really not, and that was a good point
oh yeah.
to mention because of like the amount of talk into like how Sapphire is going to be very good into the new set. Uh, Whoever they are, whatever dev is pushing the Sapphire cards to get the best cards, it will run out. You're getting your flowers now, but we will see other decks that I mean I know I'm working on some other lists that don't include blue at all.
Yeah.
And kind of ignore the Sapphire strategy if I'm being honest. But another part of their strategy is this empowered sibling Sisu because of the amount of removal Ruby has in its class. This card did see some play and also didn't see any play in some other lists. I think there was a kind of mixed opinions on this card, and especially Ice Block as an item. Although being very powerful, does lead to brickier hands due to the amount of uninkables that you have to play. But a $20 price tag. We got Top Table Gaming right here with the lowest verified, and they got five of them. If you need your playset and your one for your master set, there you go. There's your five, and you're spending about a little less than $100 before taxes and shipping. So this is still a card that I don't think will go anywhere. I feel like we're going to also think about the microbots and those cards reducing opponents' strength. So being able to have a fully clear board. It's an inkable item that and you can play more than just four in your deck.
Yeah,
So
that's actually interesting, man. You don't have to play Ice Block if you have the microbots.
yeah, so it's something to think about. I hope everyone that's listening knows that the goons have been cooking too in the lab, but we understand the finances and how important it is for you guys to get the information of when to buy your cards, especially if you're playing the game just as serious as us, because these cards are going to cost you some money, and they have been cheaper before, and they have been more expensive, and we're just trying to give you that information.
Yep. So one of the cards that was cheaper went up in price and then continued to come down in price after its hype. The Queen Diviner. This card's super cheap again. They were selling for at least like $8-9 like a month ago, and now they're back at $3. So Airfare Gaming has it for 275 with $1.27 shipping. Very cheap. Seven Thunders also next verified 275 with $1.27 shipping. Not bad in my opinion if you want to try out some Queen strategies coming up soon. Cold foils are the price of what the non-foils pretty much were at the beginning of that hype. This deck won a DLC. I believe it was DLC Bologna, the red-blue item deck with Queen. So today, lowest verified for the cold foils are only 10.95 by Health Points TCG. I think that's pretty good. Another card kind of coming down in price right now is Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood. Check out this graph right here if you want to pick up some Robin Hoods. They're the lowest I've seen them in a minute. We have Geek Gone Wild, $29 with 122 shipping, lowest verified. Then we have TCG Southside, $30 basically. They have six of them for you. You can get them all from that one seller right there. And some non-verified sellers right here as well have them for $30. So Robinhood's now a $30 legendary. Cold foil is still $41. Love to see that. If you guys were picking up foil Robin Hoods for around 40 to 45 when the non-foils were like 39, 40, then right now you're chilling. Right now you're still chilling because they didn't come down for you as much as they did for the non-foil people. $45 lowest verified, Traders of the Lost Ark, and Robinhood came out in set 3. We're already at set 6. We've seen how the set 1 foils be acting sometimes. So I don't know. Some of these legendaries I feel like they're staples, they're evergreen. The cold foils you just got to make sure you have them as the format rotates so that when Robin Hoods are in fashion again, you got them ready to go. Diablo Devoted Herald, lowest non-verified, $27, and then lowest verified is $29 by Cardiac Gaming. Cool there, not too bad if you want to pick up some Diablos. They're less than 30, which is pretty good. And then the lowest verified for a foil Diablo is now $40. I feel like these have kind of been going up a little bit actually. I want to check out some sales data. Yeah, well they've stuck around $40 in the last couple weeks or so. So that's pretty nice. So cold foil Diablo still $40. Check out this rare that is now $5, Zach Stone. Docs went from $1 to almost $5 in October. Lowest verified is going to be by Larry Bud for $386 with
That's a
$1.
$6 card if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I was gonna say $5 to $6, man. There's two of them right here, Larry Bud, and then Wonderland Market has 7 of them, 575 are ready to go. This is for non-foils too. Dang, yeah, a $6 card. Oh my gosh, look at these cold foils, Zach Stone. There's only 5 left, and the lowest verified is now $14.95. That's 4 of them right there by Wonderland Market. Then the Prodigy Games $13.66. They stick around $15 actually. Lowest, the most expensive is gonna be $15.95 for your Doc Bold Knight. This card is so good. And this card is so good in any aggressive strategy, and like it draws 2 cards. I'm so glad people started realizing that, right?
It does draw you 2 cards. It doesn't have to discard your hand. And I think another thing to kind of point out too, when this set was released, this card maybe spiked to like 40, 50 cents. And no one really respected it. And there was a time where a person wanted to get rid of their bulk. They didn't organize it. It was separated by rarity. They said, I just want to get rid of it. I'm like, well, if you got it mixed, maybe I'll give you like 2 cents per card. Better rates when you have it separated and organized. So the amount of docs I pulled out of this person's bulk, not saying that it was, an egregious amount, but it definitely was at least like 3 or 4 play sets. And they just didn't really respect it. They said they took out all the good cards. They already got what they wanted. They just want to get some money back from all the bulk that they bought. And so be it. It's up to every individual to kind of decide what they want to do with their cards and their current situation. But you really can't go wrong when cards are like 50 cents, dollars. It's important to just think about where the future could be. And even if like no cards get revealed, some people just aren't thinking of like ideas with these cards. We saw the mine deck, the Amber Steel location deck with the Seven Dwarfs Mine play this card, and it definitely served a lot of utility too, to be able to remove characters and deal 2 damage to them because of them having the Seven Dwarfs classification. But yeah, they are still selling in bundles around like $4. Again, you have to be able to buy in quantities from sellers here, but if you're not getting four from the same seller, you are spending an extra shipping for each different seller you're buying from. So just keep in mind, guys, if you got these in your trade binders, they're about $4 to $5, maybe even $6, depending on how you feel about this card. And I know if I were to sell any tomorrow, I'm probably going to want $6 a copy, just because of the amount of um, decks that I think will be more viable with the new set. As right, see, we're talking about Amber Steel Aggro. I'm sure this card's going to fit somewhere in that strategy. The new one drop, or sorry, the new Simba with the one drop Simba in combination to filter your hand. That way you can get rid of these uninkables. Is so clean and so good. I'm
Yeah.
excited to really see what gets brewed up.
Yeah, there's so much potential with a card like this. Again, future staple. When we even saw Luke Wonderland, shout out you for winning DLC Seattle. Play one copy of it in his green steel deck, and a lot of people were doing that actually. It's just it has that high potential, man. I want to go over some interesting promos that continue to be staples in the meta. How far I'll go. This league promo sells for around $4. Lowest verified 215 with $1.27 shipping. Humility here. They have it for same price, and you can get it all from them. Every playset you want, they have 25 of them ready to go for you right there. So that's not too bad. Finders Keepers, our promo card, if you didn't know, for shipping, guys. So you get this in the league promos, and since Finders Keepers has been very popular in the meta, these are now $2, which is pretty cool. Lowest non-verified is $2 with $1.27 shipping. But look at this, lowest verified is going to be $4 already. It's $4 with that 127 shipping, and there's only 6 listings left. Yeah, and the most expensive one is going to be by Lore Alley, $5. So I don't know, maybe get them as soon as you can, because there's not that many on TCG Player, and like we just finished saying, Finders Keepers sounds like a very good card coming into the next format. I'm definitely actually. I mean, I don't have any foils. Mine are all non-foil. I have a miscut and 2 non-foils. So now I am curious. Maybe I should play League and try and get some of these before the Shimmering Skies League ends, right? Near mint, Strength of a Raging Fires are still expensive. They're $7 each. Card Fox, lowest verified, $7 right there. Cold foils, let's see what those are looking like today. Still close to 15. There we go. Non-verified seller right here. Magical Stormman, $12 with $1 shipping. That looks like a deal right there. Because the next one is $15 by Legend City, then 1502 by Uncomfy Shorts. I love that name. Lowest verified. Strength of a Raging Fire continues to be one of the best steel cards. It's inkable. It's a song. You can use Cindy to sing it and deal damage. You can sing it twice with Ursula, Deceiver of All. Very, very good. Maui, Hero to All, still $15 first chapter card. Health Points, TCG has 3 of them ready for you to go, which is nice to see. Stone Drink Collects and Rising Vu Gaming also have a variety of them. Wow, a lot of sellers have multiple of these. I think a lot of first chapter has been cracked since the DLCs, is what it's looking like. What do you think?
Yeah, the first chapter booster boxes were available on the prize wall, as well as the amount of sealed events that they offered. The roaring applause people got when they packed Enchanteds was very noticeable if you were in the venue during these times.
Oh yeah,
Somebody pulled an
that was
Enchanted
fun.
Elsa.
That was fun. There was like 2 or 3 enchanted elses actually that were pulled in the pack rush.
Really? That's a lot.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think it was 3 because I believe I saw PPG post on their Instagram. Yeah, Arnino Machado or somebody posted. Yeah, there
Wow.
was about 2 or 3 for sure, more than one. It was about 2 or 3 people who packed Elsas throughout the weekend. But like we said last time on Monday, all the first chapter boxes sold out by Sunday. So Sunday people were trying to claim their tickets and there was no more first chapter. So Saturday they all sold out. And then they also had to use some for the pack rush because part of the event is like first chapter pack rush, right? But yeah, man, a lot of first chapter, a lot of first chapter is being circulated, is what it feels like. If there's like a million listings for Maui, maybe I'll wait till those prices come a little bit down. Card collecting has the lowest cold foil for $23. Very nice to see. Maui's still pretty pricey. Daisy Duck is really cheap right now, and at the beginning of every format, Hyper Aggro just seems like the move. So I'm just saying that the lowest verified for a near mint Daisy non-foil is 618 by 7 Thunders. That's going to be lowest verified, and it kind of sticks around that $7 mark. So Daisy went from being like a $20 super rare to like a $7 super rare now. Maybe consider picking up those if you're trying some Hyper Aggro strategies, because that new Simba card that's coming out, crazy. We'll get into that in a sec though. Colt foil daisies are 15 bucks. Non-foils used to be this price. Remember that at the beginning of the format. Airfare Gaming has them ready to go right there for you. A Whole New World, another first chapter card. Lowest near mint verified is going to be the Feisty Goblin, 1076. Then we have Stone Drink Collects, 1095. Then we have Oh Brother, they have 4 of them for you for 948. Rising Vu, they have 3 of them. And Vintage Seller, they have 6 of them. A lot of sellers have multiple first chapter cards. Zach, I think you're right. I think a lot of them have been used for this.
I don't think this card will go away. I don't think it'll go away. But I don't know where it's going to fit. I don't know what strategies are going to actually decide that they want to play this. We are looking at a lot of, a lot of thoughts going into Sapphire Steel potentially being like a deck to play due to the ability to deal with the aggro strategies that will definitely come out in the Azurite Sea card pool. However, this still is a card that can disrupt the mulligan. We did see Amber Steel take second place in a lot of decks that we talked about. A lot of
Shout
decks that
out,
we
Sean.
saw and we thought about was playing the Queen package, which is a shift 2 that can be able to sing this card on turn 2. We saw Robin Hood almost see no play in any of those Steel Song lists, and this is just a card that works very well in that strategy. I could see it phasing out right now, but don't forget Jafar is still somewhat playable, depending on where it lies in the meta. We still see Jafar decks popping out of set championships throughout the whole area. No Jafar decks have done well in any DLCs in the past. Like, I think there was one. There were a Jafar deck in Vegas? Correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe not, and definitely wasn't any for Seattle. So this is still something that could see a lot more play or could become relevant again. And if you don't really know what the Jafar does and how to defend yourself against that strategy, you're definitely going to get yourself caught on guard.
Yeah, you're talking about the Jafar, the Floodborn, right? Amethyst. Anytime you draw a card, you gain a lore.
Yeah, well, as the ball is exerted.
Yeah,
Yes,
while it's
evasive
exerted.
4 or
Yes.
5.
Evasive 4/5. Very good card. Very good strategy. I think, like we were saying, like we've been saying whole video, I think a lot of people are still like sleeping on certain strategies in Lorcana, especially because we don't have like an online client to kind of speed up the meta. It just kind of feels like a lot of the meta is unsolved still, which I also love, because we see these crazy decks topping events and winning set champs and stuff. Lowest verified for your Sisu and Emboldened Warriors are gonna be 337 today, with the $1.27 shipping. That's basically around $4. Non-verified seller right here, Braxton's TCG Gallery has it for $2.19 with $1 shipping. Not too bad right there. I like this card, and I think it's going to stick around the format. But we did see people not even running this in their Ruby Amethyst list, right? And I feel like this is like the Ruby Amethyst card, and if you're not playing it in Ruby Am anymore, then maybe it's still too expensive. Jay Rogers has the lowest cold foil for only $8.75, so not too bad right there. Bonsai is a very powerful card this format. This is like one of Emerald's MVPs of the format. Continues to stick around that $3 mark. Lowest verified is Milton's Collectibles, 140 with $1.27 shipping, and non-verified sellers have it for around that same price, $1.50 with that extra shipping cost. So almost $3 for your bonsai is not a bad rare, right? But Emerald just doesn't really utilize it in every Emerald deck. Cold foils are pretty cheap. These used to be like closer to like $10 at one point, and now they're $5 with $1 shipping. So not too bad. There's plenty of listings for your bonsais today, which is good to see because these were like really expensive at one point. So if you want to foil out your Emerald stuff right now, or you foil out your deck in general, I feel like a lot of cards are a little cheap because we're preparing for this Azurite Sea set that's coming out. And we got a new Simba coming out in Azurite Sea. I'll make sure to put it on the screen right there. But it's basically a Floodborn Simba. It's a Simba that costs, it's 6, right? Or 5. But you can shift it for 3. And it has 4 strength, 4
5 cost.
willpower. There you go. 5 cost, shift 3, 4 strength, 4 willpower, quest for 2, and says at the end of your turn, you can ready all your exerted characters. And now we're taking a look at some of the possible shift targets for that Simba. This is like the primary one that I immediately thought about. If you're playing an aggro Amber Steel strategy, like with Rockstar Stitch or something, you can run this Simba Future King. And cold foils are still pretty cheap. I don't think people realize like how good of a shift target this is. 30 cents with $1.27 shipping, 30 cents 40 cents, 50 cents. Nobody really has multiple of them ready to go for you though, but they're still only about $2 each, and they don't really get really cheaper than that. But this is probably one of my favorite shift targets for that Simba. It says draw a card. You discard a card after, but it lets you filter unequal cards, which is pretty good.
Yes, and something that actually was talked about with somebody brought it up. There is that 2/3 2 cost sleepy with 2 lore that says this character enters plays exerted. If you were to play that card and then shift your Simba and quest, you ready that sleepy, and
That's
that's
crazy.
kind of cool.
That is
That's kind of
cool.
cool, right? Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
funny.
So there's still lots of things that are unexplored, and again, there are still like strategies unexplored. There are still cards that could see a lot of future play, and we have seen like commons and uncommons that are going to be cheap, right? Going to be easily accessible, but their cold foil counterparts are what I feel like is what it's worth investing in, because for just about like 30-40 cents, maybe if you buy it from different sellers, you're spending a few dollars here and there, you get your cold foil future king Simbas now, and you won't have to worry about them later if you do decide to foil out your decks or decide to foil out your collections. And this is also potential to increase in price. Cold foil common like friends on the other sides and popsicles are like few bucks, right? They're not cheap, and these are cards that say draw a card. The Simba does say draw a card. It does have other limitations and other effects. However, it's important to really consider the price that it's at and how much potential impact it could have. I know I'm going to be exploring strategies like the Amber Steel aggro decks, and there's a lot of other Simbas that will be available. Like we have the protective cut from set one as well, which is a bodyguard 2/3, so you can protect like your early lore questers, and you don't necessarily need to shift the Simba on turn 3. You can develop more of a wider board, quest out, and then shift quest and re-ready everything. There's going to be a lot of things to worry about with that card in mind, and I'm glad they printed like something like that. Like that Simba is really good, and
Yeah.
there's so many more things that I wish they could print, but like that was like something that I was asking for, like something that doesn't die to like doesn't die to like most removal, and has an ability to like help your board not die to like tempo swings and just characters in play. So it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, it's a really high potential card. Like we were saying, multiple Simbas you can use as shift targets and play in a Simba deck. There's even another Simba that can shift for if you really want to play a full Simba deck. But definitely look into that. Definitely look into the strategies that you can get from Azurite Sea, and possibly even look into some of these pre-orders. I just want to let you know that the pre-order for the boxes sealed are $111 by a real good deal, and that's the lowest verified. And a lot of them stick around that 112 price. That's really cheap. If you do pre-order from the TCG website, they will be shipped after November 25th. Though, however, if you do want them early, you're gonna have to go to your local game store and basically like get them. I think it's 2 weeks earlier on November 12th, if I'm not mistaken. So reach out to your local game stores and try and order them through there. Ordering singles, they'll ship them on that weekend, but for the sealed product, the stores on TCG Player are not allowed to send them out until November 25th, which is the big box retail release, and that's when you'll find them at Target, Walmart, etc., etc. When it comes to pre-ordering singles, we don't like pre-ordering them singles. If you want to see what cards from set 6 we're looking forward to, watch our most recent video that we did with the recent DLC champion, Luke Wonderland Goodwin. And if you guys would like this content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're a Lorcana Goon, because it does support the channel. And if you want to support the channel in other ways, you can buy protection.com and you can get a little bit of
Pristine Protection TCG.
there you
We
go.
always forget to add the TCG part, Kevin. You should bookmark that, save it on your bookmarks. That way you can just click it.
Definitely need to save it on my bookmark so I can definitely just click it. But yeah, Pristine Protection TCG.com. That's what it is. Check out Pristine Protection TCG.com. You can use 10 a code 10 or you can use code Goons10 to save some money on your order if you want to pick up some sleeves for your decks. And we use those sleeves for the DLCs. I like them a lot. That's going to be that little image you see on the top left corner right there. Yeah, Zach, anything you want to say before we go as we prepare for Azurite Sea, which comes out in 2 weeks, right?
Yes, guys. Remember, there is going to be two different releases. You have a Disneyland Parks and LGS release, and then a mass retailer release that comes out in just about a week and a half after that. So be on the lookout for your Azurite Seas. I know I ordered some. I'm very excited because this is going to be the set that we look to use into the Continental format. And that's probably what most of the Goon Squad is playing for because I'm going to do my best to get to those LCQs when we get more information on those. All you guys will please stay tuned to our channel, all of our socials. We'll make sure to keep everyone up to date and share and spread that news as well. If you're not in the Discord, that's another way to get a lot of important information that does get spread around. And we have an amazing community that we're so grateful for. Shout outs to every one of those people that has stuck around for a long time, shown their continual support, and even says hi to us at the DLC events. Kevin and I really like the smile is on our face, and we're more than happy to sign anything that you guys have, listen to some stories if there's some time to. And at the end of the day, just kind of like get to know the community members because it's very important that we kind of like really kind of, I would say, spread out, reach out, and know one another.
Yeah, it was awesome. I had a blast, and never hesitate to come up to us and say hi. We gave out stickers and keychains too, so if you guys are planning on going to the Continental Tournament in Anaheim, where we're gonna be at, I'm pretty sure gonna do side events for that event too. Be sure to say hi or any other future DLC. We really appreciate it. Thanks again, my Lorcana goons. Like, comment, and subscribe. And Zach, I will see you later. Hope all of you have an amazing start to your November and an awesome weekend. We will see you goons next time.